third thing is this. Are you seeking his will in all things? You see, the modern church has this really sentimental view of God, that God is somehow this big psychotherapist in the sky that wants us to be happy and self-fulfilled. We have this view of God, that God is somehow up there to make me feel good about myself and to feed my self-esteem. Let me tell you something. God is in heaven because he is the Lord, and he deserves, because he's Lord, for you to obey him. And your job as his servant is to implement his will. And the question is not, God, will you bless my plans and my little petty dreams? Will you make my life happy and keep all my bills paid and keep all my family straight? The question is, are you committed to doing God's will even when it's hard in your life? Are you seeking his will in all things? 1 John 5:14 and 15 says this. This is the confidence that we have in approaching God. That if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us, whatever we ask, we know that we have what we ask of him. If we ask anything according to his will, I'm glad I ran across this verse, and I'll tell you why. I've got some Church of God friends who are always trying to make God do things he don't want to do. And how they think they know what God should do better than God does, I don't know. But this is something you run into sometimes in charismatic churches. There, I said it, and I'm not taking it back, all right? I had a friend one time chastise me because I prayed for somebody to be healed, and after I prayed that prayer for them to be healed, I said, if it be thy will. And he got after me. God wants everybody to be healed, and God wants everybody to be prosperous. You don't have to pray if it be thy will. Well, I got bad news for him. 1 John 5:14 through 15 says, you do have to pray if it be his will. Jesus prayed in the garden, and you're no exception. And so the question on this question is this: am I willing to submit my will to the will of God? Am I seeking his will and not mine? And brothers and sisters, that's a tough question. But if I want to return to my first love, I'm going to ask that question.